Is sourcing mostly from China, or does India now have that supply chain? So who wants to go first on that? But you can also talk about your sourcing.
So we do primarily from India only. Earlier we were a marketplace where all the nurseries in Delhi, NCR and Bangalore used to sell on our platform. But now what we have done is we have done some kind of backward integration, more like a pilot as of now, where we are sourcing directly from the growers in various parts of the country. We have a warehouse where we are keeping inventory, and the idea is to have as many products as possible.
But do you have exotic plants that you're importing?
So exotic is a little tricky to do, especially in a place like Delhi, because you can sell them, but they won't survive for too long. There is a reason why they're called exotic. It is not because they are expensive. It is primarily because they won't survive. Primarily plants like areca, jades, these sell a lot because these are very low maintenance. The type of customers that come on our platform, these are people who want good home decor pieces but very minimal maintenance around that. And exotics have a lot of maintenance, so that is why they do not sell a lot, unfortunately.
Simran, I know you're a platform, but I mean, if you were to talk about the people who are selling on your platform, what's the sourcing? China, India?
Honestly, it really depends by category. So there are some categories in which India has a very, very clear advantage, and it also shows up in the budget. There's anti-dumping duty on those, so like ceramics and stone related things, even jute, furnishings. India is one of the largest exporter. It's not as known as it should be, but actually home export is a huge category in India, and that leads in furnishing. So I would say furnishings and ceramics, India has an edge. But then there are categories like decor and glassware and a bunch of the more glass, porcelain kind of things which do dominate from China. Of course, plastic as well, like better forms of plastic. Indian products have higher longevity versus Chinese products have higher aesthetic value, right? Like India mein problem kya aati hai? Consistency ki. One can source glass from India. We were talking about this before. The consistency is a huge issue. ग्लास आप जब 1,00,000 ग्लासेस लेंगे वो सेम नहीं मिलेंगे आपको. चाइना में आपको कंसिस्टेंट मिलेगा, बट द रॉ मटेरियल क्वालिटी, द क्राफ्ट्समैनशिप ऑफ इंडिया, दैट डज हैव एन एज. Those do last longer, right?
When we started, I think we started with Indian first, but then to increase the diaspora, to see what is going around the world, we obviously shifted to the outside side of it. Secondly, when you see the foreign supplies, why foreign supplies? Let's get to that question. As he said, जब भी किसी प्रोडक्ट को एक ऐसे क्वांटम पे लेके जाना होता है जहाँ पे हमारी प्राइस की ब्रेक थ्रू हम कर पाए, एंड स्पेशली वो जो एक सेक्टर या फिर एक इकोनॉमी या फिर एक फिजिकल स्पेस होती है, वो पूरा इकोसिस्टम उस बड़े यूनिट प्लांट को गिराए, दैट्स वेयर वी गो आउटसाइड. बिकॉज हर कंट्री का, हर जगह का एक स्पेशलाइजेशन होता है. आप उस स्पेशलाइजेशन को सब्स्टिट्यूट करने में टाइम लगता है. मतलब द चेंज डजंट कम लाइक इन 10 days. सो दैट्स हाउ द सप्लाई चेन फॉर अस हैज पुट इट. आई पुट यू इन द राइट वे. IKEA आप देख लो, या बिग MNC ब्रांड्स, हमारी कैटेगरी में भी ब्रांड्स, जब हमारा एक पर्टिकुलर थ्रेशोल्ड के ऊपर क्वांटम चला जाता है एंड देन वी नीड इट क्विकली, अगेन द प्रॉब्लम इज कंसिस्टेंसी, द प्रॉब्लम इज कंटिन्यूएशन, द प्रॉब्लम इज टू गेट दैट प्राइस सेटल्ड. वहाँ हमने फॉरेन सप्लाईज करी, बट उसको भी अब स्लाइस डाउन करके इंडिया में अब इतना बेटर इंफ्रा हो चुका है कि यू कैन स्लाइस इट डाउन. सो दैट्स हाउ वी हैव पुट इट. इंडिया को हम लोग और ज़्यादा, मतलब फ्रॉम 60% ऑफ इंडियन पोर्टफोलियो वी हैव इंक्रीज्ड इट टू नाउ 75%. वी आर टारगेटिंग समवेयर अराउंड 88%, 90% in next 18-19 months.
I think for us, 60% is China, 40% is India, and like Simran said, there are categories. Resin, metal, India is quite good at it. Glassware, there are factories that are publicly listed with a 200 crore investment making the same glass, while in Firozabad someone is blowing that from out. So you can't have that same quality consistency there, right? So I mean, definitely, India is getting there. There were lack of brands like ours who would invest in the molds and dyes, because these manufacturers, what we are seeing is कि क्यों Ganesha's बुद्धास बन रहे हैं? Because same mold 20 साल से pass on forefather, same, they're making the same designs. No one is actually coming and experimenting and taking the risk of investing in that mold. And where that's why brands like us come play, because we're sitting on so much data that we, in fact, how we do it is we just import a small lot from China, we test it out, and then we get the mold created in India. That is the safest thing that you can do. So this entire change that is happening, ki test kar lo China se India mein bana lo, I think that will help our infrastructure. And I believe still there's a long mile to go for India. There's a lot of investment that is required to get that consistency.
As of now, we are not importing anything in the current product, but eventually we see that our PCBs are going to come from China. Just pricing is a factor right now in India, and the quality and consistency. But as of now, 100% of our sourcing is from India, and eventually we see that 95% once we get to the commercial version of the product will be from India.